Hello everybody, this is Kirby over yonder. And remember that Adventure Time episode about the transgender cookie? Yeah, that was pretty epic. In all seriousness, for a show like Adventure Time that has a lot of LGBT characters, it does make sense that the show would have a character who is a metaphor for being transgender. A couple months ago, I talked about the Robot Jones episode titled Gender, which also talked about the idea of being transgender. Adventure Time also has a transgender character, that being Princess Cookie, in the astonishingly titled Princess Cookie, which I will be reviewing today. This episode starts with this cookie guy in his shop taking some candy people hostage. PB tries to reason with him, but all he wants is her crown, which obviously he can't have. I enjoy how this episode just throws us into the conflict right away, and explains what's actually going on as the episode progresses. This makes it so there isn't very much filler here. Finn and Jake decide to go in, with Jake disguised as a mailman and Finn disguised as his shadow. However, Bubblegum says that Jake should disguise as a milkman instead. Oh my gosh, it's Goliad! I like how this plot point starts off as a joke, but actually gets taken seriously later in the episode. Finn and Jake go in with their disguises, but they notice that he has chocolate chips that assist him. They decide that Finn will go after the chips and Jake will stay with the cookie. Jake sits down with the cookie, who initially tells him to go away, but then Jake mentions how much he hates Princess Bubblegum because she made him wear the milk suit, which causes the cookie to warm up to him and tell him about why he hates Princess Bubblegum. Basically, he was an orphan who none of the other kids wanted to play with because they were too depressed. Eventually, Princess Bubblegum arrived, who made everything happier. One day, she tells the cookie that he can be anything he wants to be, and he says that he wants to be a princess just like her. This causes PB to laugh a little bit, and the cookie hated her ever since. I feel like this is a thing that a lot of trans people go through, where they're made fun of because they identify as the other gender, which is unfortunate because it's something that he's very passionate about. But at the same time, I don't completely blame Princess Bubblegum for laughing, because yeah, it is kind of funny when a little boy says he wants to be a princess, and it's clear that Bubblegum didn't really mean anything by it. But at the same time, this still makes the cookie's motivations very justified. My point here is that the writing in this episode is very nuanced, like a lot of Adventure Time episodes. This gets the cookie very emotional, so he starts calling his chips, only to realize that something happened to them, with that something being getting knocked out by Finn. Jake convinces him that he doesn't need a crown and that he can just create his own kingdom. Jake talks to Princess Bubblegum and asks her if he can have a horse so the cookie can escape. But Bubblegum says that she will only do that if he and Finn hunt him down afterwards. Jake brings the cookie out, but stops him before he gets on the horse, saying that it might be a trap. I like how the horse in this episode is similar to the one Ice King was disguised as in DI's. I wonder if he's hiding inside of this one too. So Jake turns into a horse himself and runs away from the banana guards that are chasing them. Finn meets back up with them and is confused as to what's going on, to which Jake explains that Princess Cookie isn't actually a bad guy and is just misunderstood. But he pushes Finn off anyways because he still doesn't understand what's going on. The two eventually get to a gap and Princess Cookie stops Jake. He explains to Jake that there is essentially no point in going on, and he attempts suicide. Yeah, this is a very dark and shocking ending to this episode. He doesn't die, of course, however, he is severely injured, and the fact that they even did this at all is very surprising. However, I do believe that the episode pulled it off very well. We next see Princess Cookie in the hospital. Oh hey, it's Dr. Princess. But Jake comes, dressed as a mailman, to give him his princess crown. Oh hey, it's the Royal Tart Toter. Jake puts the crown on top of his head in a very touching scene. Overall, I think Adventure Time handled this topic very respectfully. I feel like some people could criticize this episode for making the transgender character the villain, However, the episode gives him enough motivation and backstory to the point where halfway through he doesn't even really feel like a villain anymore. There are episodes of Adventure Time that just kind of follow random characters who we don't know anything about, and they fail because they don't do a good job fleshing out these characters so we can care about them. But Princess Cookie is a very interesting and fleshed out character who we ultimately want to root for in the end. Anyways, what did you guys think about this episode? Do you think it handled its topic well? Please let me know in the comments and have a lovely day. Kirby, out.